This is the Compass Tower. And that is my little safe haven so that I can talk about marketing and things that are interesting and stuff that's going on out in the world that has to do with marketing and industry and the news with marketing and business and things like that. And I just want to create this little safe space for me and everyone out in the world who might be interested and kind of excited by what they do and how they do it and the kind of things that I might be interested in. And then I can help and support you figure out stuff with like your career, or if you're having a particular marketing problem, let's talk about it on stream. Let's check it out. Let's figure it out. We're all doing this together. This is learning experience. So in my current job, I work in the legal industry for a pretty medium-sized law firm, I guess. I'm their digital marketing expert, specialist, somebody. And right now on Fridays, we always send out kind of like an internal newsletter. And somehow that ended up on my plate. And so that's what I do a lot of the mornings on Fridays is we send out this internal newsletter with all the stuff that's going on within the firm. And a lot of times it's just fluff and stuff and, ego stroking. So it always goes out at 10. So I like to start the stream, kind of keep an eye on that because it's automated. It should be done. It's all set. I like to get it all set and finished, but there's always something that comes in at the last second. Did you see the thing? Did you upload the right picture? Did you do whatever? And those are the kinds of things that it's like, yes, it's done. Okay, it can wait till next week sometimes. It's not critical. A lot of this stuff is real fluffy. And I noticed that a lot of times in at least this field, at least in legal, there's a lot of stuff that is pretty fluffy and ego stroking. But we do it because that's what makes them feel good. And, that's fine. So I like to call this section, like the ranger station. And you might see the pictures flash by here on the screen. But really what it is, I'm just going to rant and rave a little bit. And we're going to talk about things. So if you've got anything that you want to talk about or questions that you want answered, I'm happy to help you. I've been doing digital marketing since I left college, which essentially was I went to college back in film school, learned all this stuff, found out that a lot of my skills, I was super excited to apply my filmmaking skills to the digital marketing realm. So it's all, everything I've been doing, my whole 15 years of marketing has been just digital marketing, but I went to film school. So that's a little bit about my background. Compass Tower, this is my place to kind of just get out and say things and show you things that I think is interesting and kind of meet other marketers. I noticed this is really interesting. I really like the Twitch platform. I like the idea of live streaming. I like bringing that kind of live raw content to a platform. And I want other people who are in very serious, very uptight kind of industries to understand how powerful this can be. If you are able to have these kinds of live conversations publicly, you're going to be helping people learn. And you're going to be helping people kind of understand what you do and how you do it and show your personality. And that is a huge important way that people are able to kind of get out into the world and share their thoughts. And that's what I'd like to do. I mean, think about it. If you break it down like this is like live performance. At the same time, this is business development, right? You're meeting people and talking to people. And that's what I like to do. And so that's kind of what I want to do. I want to talk about marketing, the stuff that's interesting. And there's a lot of people who are on Twitch who talk like business stuff because Twitch is like a cool, fun place to hang out. Well, I'm a boring industry person who works in marketing, but I like to hang out in cool places. I want to hang out and talk about people or to people with people about cool things. Well, Twitch to me is the platform for that. Like if I was on YouTube and I was live streaming on YouTube, that may not be as interesting. Because there's a lot of people who YouTube is like a dumping placeholder ground, right? And that's treating that platform inappropriately. Like YouTube is super powerful. Well, I think Twitch is super powerful because it's live. I want to be interacting with people who are in the business world who also enjoy Twitch, right? Whether that's for their main business or if you work in the gaming industry. But there's other people out there who are talking and having radio shows who also need marketing. Or there's people who are designers or cosplayers or prop makers and things like that. Like all of these people could be doing this stuff live and it helps build their reputation. It helps build their pool of people who are talking to them who are really interesting. I want to do the same thing with marketing because there's not a lot of people out there who are doing it. And the fun thing about this is that if you're the only one, there's no one else who's going to find you, right? But I want to get my word out there, and I want to get things going, and I want to talk to people. So that's enough of my ranting and raving. Let's jump into some of the things that I think are really interesting, and we can kind of go into this. So here's a couple of cool things that I found kind of in the week of marketing. And I find a lot of this stuff on Twitter because that's where a lot of people who I think are really pushing the boundaries of marketing are hanging out. Now, a lot of these people could also be in magazines and on websites and things like that. But I find that the quick pace of Twitter and people interacting and presenting ideas is interesting. I wouldn't say it's always right. A lot of people are feeding into the Twitter algorithms and thread nonsense. So just keep that in mind. So a lot of this stuff, I'm going to put my own take on it, but here's some things I found that I thought were interesting. So let's get to sharing it. And if you have anything that you want to say, drop it in the chat. Anything you want to share or see, happy to talk about it. A lot of what I do in my day-to-day job is like email marketing, list management, video creation, content platform management, social media, graphic design. I do it all. My specialty is that I'm a generalist. So I feel like more and more marketing departments are becoming that because they don't know what they want, so they ask for everything. And every job, I'm going to say this honestly, every job that I've ever had since college has needed someone like that. Or they need somebody and they don't know what the hell they're doing and they're going to ask for everything. And I found my specialty is being able to do a little bit of everything well. Really helps these companies understand what they're looking for and get what they want. So if you're in that same boat, I would love to hear from you. There's a lot of people out there, especially social media managers, they're asked to do 10 jobs in one job to accomplish 10 things. You know, it's really complicated. And things like that can spin out of control if you have managers who have no idea what they're doing. And that happens all the time. You might hear my dogs. I have 3 golden retrievers, and they're right directly to my left. Right? Somewhere. Anyway, they're to my left, and there's a window here, and they love to sit here in the window and growl at the bird that walks by or whatever. So you might hear them. You may hear them bark. It's just part of the joy of me doing this here at home on a Friday, co-working with my co-workers here, my furry companions. So here's something I found and I wanted to share. So let's bring this up. So I saw this pop up on my Twitter feed and I thought, oh, this is really interesting. Let me zoom in. I see everybody can see this a little bit. So I saw this pop up. This is from Brett Rudy. I don't follow Brett Rudy, but it popped up on my feed. Brett Rudy is slick marketing, new technology, fresh ideas, anything baseball. Great. Thank you, Brett. He had this little comment about this article, this Instagram post from Adweek saying that PacSun is partnering with computer-generated influence phenomenon Lil Miquela on its ongoing quest to build a presence in the metaverse. And supposedly, based off the caption and whatnot, this lady here is all computer digitized creation, and they've placed her inside this PacSun store. So she's here, digitally graphic created, influencer in an actual location in PacSun. It's probably in New York City, based off the sidewalk. But here's what Rudy's take is: brands are creating Brands are creating computer-generated influencers to promote their product. They look and act like real people, but they're just graphics and you don't have to pay them. The future of marketing is now. Okay, here it is. Here's my hot take. Buckle up. Listen to this one. Okay, hot take. Digital influencers. Take that to Twitch. A lot of them are VTubers, right? Imagine those. So VTubers have this personality that they've created. An influencer outside performance piece. They've put this into the real world, but only to be consumed in a digital format, right? So that gets my wheels spinning and thinking, okay, sure, let's say this was a video and you're having live 3D capture. Well, that video is going to be edited down and, you're getting the latest takes and whatever of this little Miquela persona. And Brett is saying here that you don't have to pay them. No, you're going to pay them quadruple, triple as much because there's a whole agency and design network that goes behind this to support this kind of thing. So like, instead of paying a real person, you're paying a team of people or a giant company to basically manufacture a persona, and you can put them anywhere. The advantage is that you can essentially put them anywhere, right? You're going to pay them way more money. So Brett, I appreciate the hot take. And this is the thing, is the computer design and graphics and the AI things that they're coming out are getting better and better and better. That's great. But the thing that you're paying for, right? They're going to take away access to these tools eventually, right? Because everything has to be monetized. Little Michaela is going to cost 10 times as much as if you had hired just some person who actually has a real audience, right? And paid them to do a thing at PacSun, or wear the PacSun clothes, or sport the PacSun whatever, sunglasses, shoes, shirts, shorts, whatever, hat, go to an event, PacSun event, like a surfing competition, whatever. So imagine now, instead of paying someone to be genuine and have maybe one or two other people as support staff for little Michaela here, now you're paying a marketing agency to design the situation, design which products she can interact with, because they can't do that, unless they're live capturing motion capture. That's hard to do. That takes a lot of equipment. That takes a lot of computing power, and it has to be mobile. So you're telling me that's going to be cheaper? I don't think so. It would be way more beneficial and way better for your brand if you were actually paying a real person, right? Because think about it this way, like that person can interact with their audience in a way that only they know, right? But little Michaela, let's say that persona doesn't fit PacSun, right? Let's say it was Hot Topic. Well, little Michaela doesn't shop at Hot Topic, right? I mean, whatever mall brand you can pick up. Like, she doesn't shop at Talbot's, right? So if you wanted to create a digitized persona person who shops at Talbot's, or I mean, think of the difference, like Macy's, right? The demographic, you would have to create that persona, build that persona up on a social platform to attract those kinds of people. And then you would have to be able to have a brand deal with Macy's, for example, or whatever, Talbot's or whatever. So you see what I'm saying? Like, you would have to have an entire team create 50 different personas to match the needs of these particular brands. And then you would have to pitch it to them, do it, have all this stuff going on in a background, and you're telling me that's going to be cheaper. Yes, this is a cool gimmick. This is a cool kind of like concept. I mean, it looks really well done. I mean, this is just a still shot capture, I think. But having that totally replace like influencer programs, it seems a little far off. Like, we're not there yet, and it's going to be expensive, and it will continue to be expensive, because if it works, they're going to charge more money. And if it looks clunky and cheesy, well, you've spent a lot of money for something that maybe you hope will work. So, hot take number 1 of the day, little Michaela, PacSun, cool, interesting idea. Sip. I think it will be hard to execute a little bit. Mostly because of how things are and kind of what people are looking for. And if you're looking for cheap marketing, this is not it. This is like cool metaverse marketing. Metaverse is not even close to any of this. Even AR reality type stuff, it's getting way better, but it's going to cost you a boatload of money. And I don't think a lot of companies can afford this. And if you're going to spend that much, there's other ways to do it that are just as effective and way more genuine. Okay. Thanks, Brett. You can follow him at BK Rudy. Shout out to him. Okay. So speaking of, because I am in the law industry, I work for the medium-sized law firm that shall be nameless. I get a lot of these like lawyer-ish type tweets that pop up. I don't necessarily follow lawyers. I don't follow legal law firm type stuff, but I like to keep my eye just to see what everyone's talking about. And I have a rant about that later. We'll go into much later. But this popped up, and I thought this was interesting. There's a couple of tweets here. This is from BZ Bergman, Ben Bergman. Congratulations. Thank you for a tweet. Looks like he's done pretty well. Teach for America. He's running for office, whatever. And then this one popped up, Justy from the Colorado Law Team. She's a CEO. Looks like a legal tech thing. This is it looks like Washington, D.C. Yeah, because I've definitely recognized this subway station on this tile. This is in Washington, D.C. in their metro. So Ben says, just overheard this lawyer making a motion before a judge as he exited the subway train. No dignity in post-pandemic lawyering. No dignity in post-pandemic lawyering. The thing that I absolutely love about the pandemic is it forced people who are very much like corporate office workers to do something else. And a lot of people don't like it. They don't know how to handle it. They don't know what to do with themselves. They really struggle. And I think it's so interesting that this guy's willing to be like, you know what? I have to take this the deposition or whatever, this motion before the judge, wherever I am, because I have to. I don't have an option. So he sat down. He has his laptop. It's hard to see here. He has his laptop and his papers here, and he's going to do it. You know, this thing came up a while ago, but it's like that guy who did the cat thing he's having a thing with a judge, and the cat filter's on. He's like, you know, sorry, judge, I'm not a cat. And everyone kind of has a little chuckle, and this guy surely is embarrassed. You know, it is hilarious, right? And depending on who you work with, you should have a good laugh. You know, have a good laugh. Have a laugh at yourself, honestly, because especially in the law field, everyone takes themselves very seriously, extremely seriously. And that's okay. You're providing a very serious service for people who need very serious help, whether that's in business or, you know, whatever. But having the do anything humble attitude, be able to do this, thumbs up, dude. Whatever nameless lawyer you are in this picture, nailed it. Okay? So here's Justy's take on it. For the love of God, dignity in the image of lawyering is complete BS. And I completely agree with her. Do good work, right? Absolutely. Always do good work. Help your clients. Shocker. Do a good job. Help them solve their problems. That's the standard. Does not matter from where. What? Doesn't matter from where. Exactly. Doesn't matter. The world knows this. Do you? Let's say here, if you're at a law firm, do you understand that 90% of what we do is online? And the pandemic kind of just forced it. And a lot of the judges love it. And the courts are like, wow, this is fantastic. We don't have to schedule rooms and meetings and stuff. Like certain things you have to. I get that. But like a lot of the stuff, and this is the thing that I have learned in the legal industry. Now I've been here 4 years. All the lawyers, even in competing firms, know each other. All the judges know each other, and all the lawyers. They hang out. They talk to each other constantly. And none of them want to go to the courtroom or the courthouse. So they do a lot of the paperwork and they do a lot of the stuff outside of the courtroom as much as possible because they don't want to have to deal with it. So for this guy to be able to take that call, do that motion, handle that matter at that level anywhere and understand that's perfectly okay and most people are okay with it. The people who don't understand what it takes to understand that this is the best way to serve their client, they are missing out because they like the drama of the courtroom. They like to feel prestigious. It's all about their ego. Well, does your ego help your client? Does your ego and help build business? No. So super cool. I thought it was really interesting, kind of just another little hot take. But my hot take on the industry is like the legal industry is like mired in like whataboutism and doing stuff that I would think is fairly outdated. They're operating things like it's still the 90s. You know, thankfully we don't have fax machines, and things are getting better, but the thought process and the systems and the kind of the jobs to be done situation is very much based on, well, what is the other guy doing? Well, he's doing that. Well, we got to do that too. And, well, what if we do this? Well, we can't because we've never done that before. Well, that means that's a perfect opportunity. That's the first thing you should be doing. Take risks. And lawyers are very risk averse, and I understand that. That's their job to be risk averse. But if you're in a marketing department, right, in a law firm or any kind of marketing department, your job is 100% to take risks all the time, right? I think there's some thing that Coca-Cola released ages ago, and it was like, yeah, like 80% of our budget is like stuff we never touch. It's the stuff we always do, nothing new. But then like 20% is like literally marketing department, go bananas. Show me what's possible. There's other companies who are like that, apply that to, like Taco Bell, things like that. It's like literally marketing department, just go ape shit. Figure it out. And if something sticks and gets viral or is cool, or maybe it's something we didn't think about before, 100% just gets blasted out there. Like 20% of their budget, hardcore 20% of the budget is like literally go bananas. Bananas. And if it doesn't work, that's okay. That's okay. That's 20% of the budget we're okay with not doing, because we know that 80% that we're already spending is going to keep the business running. Right? Like, come on. Okay, more lawyer hot takes. This is another one that popped up. I just thought was hilarious. This one's from Albin Brook. You can follow him at Albin Brook. He's the head of marketing at Buzzsprout, which is like a social media platform thing. They do a lot of like scheduling and, Buzzsprout, all that stuff. Anyway, he writes about marketing and podcasts, SAS, or SAS. Anyway, so his funny thing is like words that lawyers love to sound smart, and they use words that are really stupid or ancient to make them sound smarter. And it happens all the time. And it's one of those things that just drives me mad. So in his example, this one's further down. It says, the first time I ever saw the phrase de minimis, I was a paralegal and was like, and like I rewrote the sentence to say small, right? De minimis is Latin for small, like it's a minimus. And the lawyer was horrified and demanded he change it back. I run into this situation all the time. Lawyers love to fluff up fancy pants words when things should be simple. Things should be conversational. Things should be easy. So his other example is cudgel. Now, I've heard of a cudgel. I know what a cudgel is because I'm a dork. I play Dungeons and Dragons, and I like history, and I like all sorts of stuff. So a cudgel, for me, cudgel is like, well, yeah, it's like a club, right? And it says it's one of those anachronistic words that snuck their way into the legal field and had never left, because you can justify sounding smart. You can charge $670 an hour to your client to sound smart. And essentially, that's what a lot of clients want. They feel like the more fancy pants words that they can read in the legalese is going to help them win their problems away. And lawyers love to do it because it makes them feel smart. And a lot of lawyers are very good writers. They're very good writers with legal stuff. They're very poor writers when it comes to like social media, when it comes to writing blogs, when it comes to writing email blasts. And in the legal industry, they call those client alerts, because you're alerting the client. And a lot of times it's just fluff BS. So it's really funny. Things like de minimis, shibboleth, usurious, therefore, I use therefore all the time, but if, then, therefore, right? Surplusage. There is a surplusage of words in this stream right now. Anyway, so here's the thing that pops up. Pop news word of the day: cudgel, short, thick stick used as a weapon. It's an old English term. But it says, but seemingly which the only people who use it are the Sirius XM's legal team. So go out, get your cudgel, and, just go bananas. So it's stuff like this. It's like this culture of like proving yourself smart. Well, how do you prove yourself smart? You take action. You do things that cause you to seem smart. You do something. And a lot of times the legal field is just like, what are you doing? Like, there's a way better way to say small. There's a way better word to say, you're beating something to death. Anyway, super interesting, super funny. Just some quick hot takes I thought were just great. Okay, a couple other last hot takes, and then we'll get on to my rant. But first, I need to have a drink. And I'm going to drink. That's one of those things. That's one of those rules. You're not supposed to like drink on stream because it's like gross mouth sounds. And the other thing you're not supposed to do is eat. Same thing, gross mouth sounds. But you sit here and talk for hours. I've been talking for almost 40 minutes. And it's like, man, need a drink. And I'm not fancy enough to have like a mute button. I don't have a stream deck or anything, but one of these days I will. Excuse me. Oh man. Okay, so here's another one, another hot take. This one is from Matt Giovanisi. He's kind of like he kind of has some funny takes on, like, he runs his own couple of businesses about like marketing and affiliate marketing, and he has these kind of like small companies that he's building up, but he does really well. And he posts his like financial statements and what experiments he's doing in marketing and things like that. So he's kind of a fun guy to follow. But he posted this thread, and don't get me started on the Twitter threads because there's a bazillion of them because Twitter loves them right now. But here's one I thought was really interesting, and I've seen this before, and I kind of knew this was a thing, but it's interesting to see what he's positing. So the quickest and easiest, find endless supply of content ideas. So if you're in marketing, content marketing is like the bee's knees, and it will be for a long time because it kind of works because you're solving questions on the internet. And that's always how it has been. Are you being helpful on the internet? Are you educating people about your product? Are you helping them find ways to use your product? So one of the things I always find struggling with is like, how do you find questions about your content to help answer your customers' questions? Well, honestly, the first thing you should do is talk to your customers. Tell them, hey, where you want to get your opinion. What troubles are you having? What do you wish you knew? What are your buying decisions along the way to get to this point? Whether you're selling a product or you're selling yourself on Twitch, like I am. Like, I'm just trying to get myself out there so I can talk to people and tell people, here are some great ideas I have. And I want to help you guys because a lot of people who are out there in the same situation. There's a lot of people out there who maybe work in marketing who also want to do Twitch for fun, but they're, it's as a marketer, it's hard to market yourself because you do it all day long and you want to come home and you don't want to do it anymore. So it's one of those things like, I want to help people. I really want to help people because it makes me happy. I'm a people pleaser. Okay, so anyway, back to Matt. Matt says the easiest way to find endless supply of content ideas, go to YouTube, search for a keyword in your niche, find a popular channel, filter the YouTubes by most popular, click on the most popular video, reveal all the comments, open find in page, and find the question mark. So you're finding a very, very popular video. YouTube has obviously fed it to a lot of people. Search the comments, look for question marks. It's because you're going to be finding people's questions. Well, now you go back and you take that as inspiration. You go, okay, I can solve those people's questions on my own version and in my own way and on my own platform. That is great. That's a great way to start because, like, for example, like if I Googled up something about MailChimp and I need help with the MailChimp feature, or I want to reach a certain number of audience, or I want to find certain people, this is probably a good way to get not to actually find content ideas, but what it's doing is lubricating your brain to help you think of ways to better help your customers, right? So a lot of times, and I notice this a lot, is if you do marketing, you're asking your brain a lot. You need to think technically, you need to think strategically, you need to think creatively, and you kind of have to tie all this together to drive business, forward. And that's hard to do. You're asking your brain to do a whole lot, and sometimes I'll come home and I find myself like, my brain is flat because I've asked it to do a whole lot of stuff, and I want to do more. I want to come home and stream. I want to come home and spend time with my family and my wife and my kids. I want to do all of these things, but my brain is deflated because I've asked too much of it in the day. So this is kind of like a quick way to be like, okay, have someone else be asking the questions, and that's going to help my brain feel fuel to answer those questions in my own way and on my own platform and in my own style. So I thought it was really kind of interesting. So I wanted to try this live on the stream. And this is going to be something we're going to just try it. So here's what I'm going to see if I can do. I'm going to pull up my YouTube, and we're going to try this, and we're going to find something that's about law firm business development, because that's fancy code word speak for content marketing for lawyers, which is, are you being helpful? Are you solving your clients' problems? Are you putting yourself in a position where you can be the voice of authority? Are you actually being kind, helpful, friendly, those type of Boy Scout things in a legal situation? Sorry, I keep peeking over here. I'm just looking for the email. It's going to go out soon. It's going to go out real fast. So anyway, let's try this. We're going to search up whatever comes up. Oh, and by the way, if you want, you can go and check out my YouTube channel. I just posted a few videos talking about being format ready, not just camera ready. Talking about audio formats and talking about how to build client trust faster. And all this is just my packaged thoughts about some of these topics. I would love it if you went and subscribed and liked and watched some of these videos if you want. And if not, that's okay. I'm just doing this for fun so we can kind of see what's going on. And there's a nice picture of me when my beard was much thicker. So let's try this out. So let's talk about, let's see, like business development for lawyers. Let's see what pops up. Okay, we got a couple ads. This is a heavily added market. Lawyering will always have tons and tons of ads because they have tons and tons of money and they don't know how to spend that money properly. So we're going to go through and we're going to do some filters. We're going to look for channels, right, that have a lot of people on it. Actually, let's look for videos that have a lot of views. And then maybe we'll go to a channel. So here's one, Patrick Dang. Here's how to write cold email lines for business development and B2B sales. Sure.
In this video.
Whoop. Sorry, that was quite loud. So we're going to go videos. We're going to go sort by popular. So this is his #1 most popular video, which is interesting. So this is like, okay, like this is pretty like generic. Day in a life of business development. Okay. So I'm going to do a quick mute up here just so we don't blast anybody out here. Oh, look at an ad. Oh, shocking. An ad. Oh, for Monday. All right. Thank you, Dan, or Patrick. Sorry. So we're going to try Matt Giovanni's thing. So we're going to search, hit, Control F, and we're going to search for a question mark. So there's 11. It says 11 has popped up. So let's go to the first one. There we go. Okay. So this one's not too deep. Oh, there's a few. Hold on. Oh. Where'd it go? Here's one. Okay, so this is the very first question. It says, I like the video and the way you explain the entire process of cold email drafting. I have one thought here. As many prospects are now on mobile phones, as I am mobile friendly, will you please create a video to showcase how to create mobile friendly email templates? So if you're a marketer, and this guy clearly is looking for a solution, he wants mobile friendly. Well, if you're using your service provider, like an email service provider, they should be automatically mobile friendly, right? And if you're writing just a text email to somebody in a cold email situation, it should already be mobile friendly. Okay. So if you're a marketing agency, okay, write some things about mobile friendly. Fine. Templates, whatever, images. That's fine. So in Matt's Positronics over here, this is interesting. This is kind of an interesting way. So we've just greased my wheels. I was talking about business development. So how do I combine business development based off this video and this guy's question? So with business development, we're trying to be helpful and to solve people's problems, let's say in the legal field or a professional field or a creative field, whatever marketing you're in, product. Oh man, don't get me started on product. Okay. So we're talking about business development here. So business development is based on this video, and this guy's looking for business development template ideas based on cold emails. So what I would write or produce a video about or write a Twitter thread on, be like, a lot of business development people are doing mobile cold emails wrong. Here's how I would solve them. Answer that question. Because now you've hit some pretty interesting keywords. Business development, cold emails, mobile friendly templates for emails, right? You've hit some four gigantic keywords that are going to help bolster up your ideas. And here's the thing, based off of what you create and what you post and what you end up putting out there, you're going to get a flood of more questions that you can then answer from there. Because someone else is going to go, oh, I liked your idea about cold emailing. How do you do that? Oh, I liked your idea about business development with mobile-friendly templates. Well, you can talk about that. So let's try it again. Let's keep going. So the next question is, do you have any advice on cadence? Right? So they're talking about cold emailing for business development. Cadence, you want to keep it as short as fuck. I don't want to read your email. I don't want to be like invited to a lunch. I don't want to see your product demo. How can you, who are cold emailing me, help me in a massive way as fast as possible? Right? Cadence, it's not about like, I'm crafting this perfect message. Can I help you or can I not? That's all I want to know. Right? And a lot of people, especially because I get tons of junk mail from other marketers, and it's always like, hey, did you see my email? I saw you. It's like, okay, yeah, okay. What do you want? Who are you? I don't know you. What can I do for you? If you came out with that cold email like, hey, I saw you did this blog on X, Y, and Z. I thought that was really interesting. I would love to do a video for you. End of cold email. Done. Right? That would be like, oh, wow, I didn't even think to put a video to that blog thing. Or, oh, I don't have the resources to put a thing to that blog thing. You know, like, it just greases the wheels so much faster. Like, are you doing it? Are you doing it well? Are you doing it fast? Are you solving my problem now? Because that's what people are really interested in. Let's do one more, and then we'll move on. Okay, where's the next question mark? I see it here. It's not highlighting, though. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. That's why. Oh. Confused? Yes, brain? Okay, so blah, blah, blah. Cold emails using my script and okay, confusing. I like to propose a specific time and date for a meeting so I could come back with, okay, when's a good time to discuss? Okay, that's clearly not for us. We're moving on. Nice job, friends. So, anyway, going back to Matt's thing, like, it's pretty interesting. It just gets your brain working. Like, it's just a prompt. And I noticed that a lot of these Twitter threads, like, it's just a prompt to get you to go, and then you like and tweet it and retweet it and all that stuff, and you kind of get some stuff going, and it makes your brain go, And sometimes that's all your brain needs. Because if you're a marketer, you know how to do all this stuff. Like, you have the experience. And the stuff that you're tweaking or stuff you're seeking answers for, you could come up with yourself. It's just you need a little bit of, like, brain juice. Or you need a break. Have you ever thought about having a break and be like, you know what? Really focus on what's important to me. And sometimes you don't have that option. And sometimes, honestly, you should push back and be like, you know what? It's not really what we need to be focusing on right now. And it always comes down to shiny object syndrome. And the lawyers I work with especially, sometimes they really have this. And it's like, oh, I want to do a thing because a friend of mine is doing a thing and I want to do that too. And I want to be cool like them. Every job I've had has always been like that. It's always shiny syndrome. And it's kind of interesting because like people, like, they don't even see it. Like, they're so fascinated by a tool or a new program or some gimmick they saw. You know, it's kind of interesting, like, what they're really captured by. And it's like, okay, you know, that's fine. We can chase that rabbit for a little bit. But, like, honestly, we got to get back to, like, doing stuff we know works and taking 20% of our budget and really pushing the boundaries. So anyway, let's take a quick break. I've been talking for almost an hour now. So everybody just kind of hold still. I'm going to hit the pause screen and we'll go from there. And we'll talk about other things. And I think a little bit later we're going to play some games. I'm just waiting for this email to go out. It's going to go out in about 5 minutes. Everybody's going to go, yay, I did it again every week. So anyway, hit the bio break, have a drink of water, go go get a snack. I'll be back in like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. Just be right back. Be right back. Okay? Okay? Cool. Okay, bye. Guess who's back? Back again. Okay, bio break, everybody. Hi. How we doing? I'm leaning on the camera again. Sip time. Here's one of the things that I love. Being able to do this, I get to express a little bit of my personality. I don't know if you've noticed, but a little bit of my personality happens to be plaid. I love plaid. It's just one of those things that for some reason it's just like, man, that's my cup of tea. And I love it mostly because it's interesting. You get a lot of visual patterns and, recognition, stuff like that. But I was talking to my sister, and she's a graphic designer. She's like, wow, you really went on heavy on the plaid thing, huh? I was like, well, I kind of like it. It's okay. It's cool. I'm going to do it. Anyway, kind of interesting, kind of fun. Just doing all that fun stuff. And it's just like, you know what? Okay, that's all right. I'm all right. I enjoy it. Uh-oh, dog's whining. Hold on. It's Jinx. I have 3 golden retrievers. The one I'm scratching right now, I don't know if you can see him. There he is. Look at him. Look at the boy. Jax, come here. Right here. Jax is a red golden retriever. And as we all know, the red ones go faster. So, Jax is Speedy Boy Jax. He's also loves his scratches. Loves scratches. And he has a little couch right here that he likes to sit on and look out the window. Anyway, so this segment of the stream I like to call the Campfire Council. And if you're out there in chat and you want to say hi or do anything cool, or, if you have problems you want to help talk through or walk through or whatever, I am happy to do it. So, anybody pops up in chat, anybody wants to talk, I'm happy to answer any of your questions. Excuse me. I had a sip of juice in it now. It's like stuck in my throat. And in the meantime, I'm waiting for this email to go out. We use HubSpot. It's great. I really like it. We've switched email platforms 4 times in 3 years at my current job, which I believe is insane. And this is our current manifestation. And we'll see how that goes as time goes on. But it's working pretty well, and I really enjoy it, and it does most everything I need it to do. Because I'm the only one who knows how to use it, honestly, because we have 9 people on our marketing team, and I'm the only one who knows how to use it, or does use it. Okay, it looks like it's going out okay. All right, well, we'll see when it pops up. Anyway, give me your thoughts. What programs do you use? Which things do you use? What tools do you use? I'm a big fan of, really boring spreadsheets sometimes, and I'm a big fan of, cool automation tools like HubSpot. And, there's a million things out there. A million. I saw some statistic that there was 6,000 marketing program platforms out there. All different. All very wildly different. And it's funny, what people pick. Some people are, really hyper-focused on, really customizable building giant automation systems with Zapier and Notion and all this stuff. It's whoa, I get it. You want to be efficient. You want to build more time into your situation, whatever that is. Whether you're a solo marketer, which is what I've mostly been, or there it goes. Okay. Whew. Job done, guys. It's too much. Hang on, it's too much. And it's weird because normally for us it's Fridays are pretty quiet because the lawyers are quiet because the lawyers are either busy or not even around. So for that to go out, it's that's okay. That's good. So, excuse me. I'm snorting away. Anyway, but if you got any questions or comments, put them in the chat. I'd love to talk. There's just a lot of stuff going on, and I'd really love to see what people are doing. And if you want to share something, this is the coolest place to share. I want to get to know people. I want to share things. I want to really see what everybody's up to. And we can talk about it. I was thinking about doing a game a little bit later, after maybe another 20 minutes or so, and talk about what's going on and see how everybody's doing. And maybe we can share some things and just talk about marketing. Sorry, I'm just checking. Sending my wife a text because, I love her. It's something to just do. Love it. There. Sometimes you just gotta say I love you. And that's what I did. So we'll see what she says. I'm sure it'll be I love you too. Or some form of emoji. Anyway, so doesn't look like there's gonna be a lot of interaction. But I wanted to just show everybody, and let's see if I can find this. Oh no, maybe I got everything backed up. Anyway, here's my oh. Let's see. She says she loves me too. And sometimes that's all you need. You just need someone special in your life, whoever that may be. And just share it with them. Honestly. Just be open and honest. And that's what this stream is going to be. It's going to be open and honest about marketing stuff. Because sometimes it's really messed up. And sometimes you're like, what is going on? And other times you're like, man, that is mwah, chef's kiss. So, we're not pogging over here. We're just having fun and doing a good, cool, old-timey discussion. So if you want to join in, you want to gather around the campfire, you want to share what your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it and talk with you about any of the things that you've got going on. So, I'm just thinking like in my work experience, like what's something I can share with you guys? Like I've worked in a lot of different industries, and I think that's something that I think is unfortunate. A lot of marketers don't get to do unless they're willing to bounce around for different jobs and things. Working in a lot of different industries brings a lot of perspective. And we'll get to my rant, because I have a hot rant ready to go, and I shared it with my friend Ben yesterday, but it was like, maybe I need to share something. Maybe I need to write a blog post about this just to get it out of my system, because sometimes I really like to complain, because if you complain, it means something's not working or something's not happening that you're anticipating. And I complain because it drives inspiration in me to solve the problem, right? A lot of people don't like complaining because they feel like, well, you're not pulling your weight. Well, no, that what it is I'm expressing concern. And I'm expressing concern because I want something to change. Well, if I express it to enough people and they also see that view, then maybe something will change, right? So here's my rant for the day, and we'll try and keep this brief. But every job I've had, except maybe a handful, there are industry-specific groups or organizations that kind of become like the standard. Like you have to be a participant, or you have to see what they're doing because they're supposedly leading the cause of your industry. And what I've noticed, and I've come to notice this especially lately, is they may not actually know what they're talking about. They may be the leader of they may be the loudest voice, let's put it that way, because they're the most organized or the most funded, or, there is strength in numbers. Absolutely. I'm going to adjust this camera real quick because I'm leaning back. There is definitely strength in numbers, but the kind of information, it's like the same old content marketing problem that everybody always has, is you get to a point of kind of like saturation, where you feel like you've created stuff and you're leading the cause on a thing, and you kind of get to a point where like you're just producing the same stuff to the same people, and they kind of eat it up every time, but you're not really cutting edge or pushing the boundaries. You're kind of just saying the same thing again and again. But and that's the nature of marketing, and that's the nature of the internet. It's just a giant circle. But what I notice about these industries is they really spend a lot of time positioning themselves as the voice of leadership. I'm going to do it. The voice of leadership for the particular industry. And what they're really doing is they're just the loudest. It's not that they're actually really cutting edge or doing any boundary pushing. And you need to be able to join those groups and kind of see what they're doing and kind of see what they're emphasizing. But you also have to be brave enough to go, you know what? They're filling a hole for the widest common denominator, right? Not even the deepest, right? Like it's this skim level of water, like it's barely a puddle deep, of the kind of stuff that and things that they're sharing with you. Like if you go to a conference, it's like, oh, this is the topic I'm interested in. But like, think about it this way: like over the course of like the entire conference, 3 or 4 days, you're really just hearing, you're confirming what you already think you know, right? Or maybe if you're hearing new ideas, it's just presented from someone else that maybe you kind of know already, right? So again, that puddle deep kind of situation going on. And if you're really going to be doing deep learning, you're going to get it from maybe inspiration from these particular conferences or particular organizations, and it's going to spur you to go look. And that's the thing, is I think they need to do more of. They need to spur creativity and they need to spur inspiration, not necessarily say, chug out 10 more podcast episodes about the same thing or bring on a different guest. It's like, yeah, we get that. We get the same opinion again and again and again. And that's one of the things I think is unfortunate, is a lot of these places, they're chugging it out for the chugging out sake, to just have something out there for these people who feel like they're in this group or this industry. And so it becomes watered down. It's very girl thin. But what you should do, and I found this to be extremely helpful for myself, is if you're in a particular industry, the loudest group may not know exactly what is great or what is cutting edge. So in the legal industry, like they're still hawking stuff that was like baseline in the early 2000s. And if you mention something that's beyond that, they're like, oh no, we can't do that. We haven't ever done that before. What's the 5 other closest competitors doing? So we'll do that too. So you end up with this like melange of like stuff that's very samey. Always samey, always kind of like just this watermark stamp on just the same old crap. Every industry I've noticed has always been doing that. They're really just maintaining the status quo and being loud about it. And there's a place for that. But if you're a marketer and you're looking to be cutting edge, you need to be looking outside of your industry. So for example, I feel like, and it's always down to money, I feel like the legal industry could take a huge cue from marketing in the tech space, because they're willing to do stuff and try stuff and push the boundaries and create really amazing content that people want to engage with in a really meaningful way. Sorry, you may hear some crunching. That's my dog eating a bone. So we're going to see if we can talk above the crunching. So anyway, let's see if this helps. I'm going to talk closer here. So following outside industry, seeing what they're doing, what's exciting them, and kind of taking that back and going, okay, I see what they're doing. I see what they're kind of trying to do. If you can take that back and go, okay, I'm going to do a slow little breakdown. Can I do that? Can my department do that? Can I present this thing to the CMO and get some buy-in? And if you're a solo marketer, like the buy-in is the CEO, the boss, the company owner, whatever. You have to be willing to try, observe, learn, and try and execute. And you have to be willing to fail. And I think that's something, at least I noticed in the legal industry, is that they're very, very gun shy, because it's all about ego and embarrassment, right? You have to stroke certain people's egos while minimizing the embarrassment if something goes wrong, right? Because and this is something I was taught in film school. It's like, you're only as good as your last film, because that's what everyone is basing their experience with you on. So if you are a lawyer and you had a great case, well, you should be tooting your horn, absolutely, but you should be doing it in a way that attracts new clients. Oh, here we go. Co-working. Hold on. Pause. Got to look over. Let's see. Okay, so the newsletter just went out. Live update. Okay, live update. Here we go. One of the lawyers. The newsletter didn't include something that happened in June that she spoke at. Well, we only cover 1 week at a time. So if this was back in June, it was clearly not mentioned because we're in August. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Awesome. What is this? No, I've... Yeah. Okay. So now, okay, this is where the drama starts, because everybody's gonna go, "Oh, sorry, we didn't see it," and then the lawyer's gonna go, "Oh, well, I didn't tell anybody about it, so how are we supposed to know?" That's always the answer. Well, did you tell anybody about it? No. Okay. Well, I can't help you because you didn't do your thing. we end up chasing this kind of stuff around. Always fires all the time, and it's just like, whew, like, you guys go be great lawyers, but we can't help you be great marketers until you help yourselves. Okay, sip time. Anybody out there? You want to share your thoughts? I always want to know. Just say hi. Just say hi in chat. Like, I'm very friendly. I want to say hi. Let's see what happens. Amanda Thatcher. I don't. Anyway. Just wild. Oh, now I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? I don't know. Anyway, should we play some games? We'll see how this shakes out over here on the co-working part. But going forward, I think we're gonna just. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna try and keep this to like an hour or 2 hours of talking. Hi, unimproved trial. Or trail. It's real small over here on my screen. What's going on? You want to talk marketing? That's what we're doing today. I'm helping answer any questions, kind of sharing my experience. I'm doing a bit of a co-working. I have my co-workers over here on my other screen, and we're solving problems. And a lot of those problems end up dealing with, somebody didn't say something, so it didn't get it included in blah, blah, blah. So anyway, welcome. Let me know what you guys want to talk about. Anyway, now I lost my train of thought. Anyway, so let's play some games. Let's see what's going on. Unless you've got any thoughts, I'm curious to see what everyone's talking about and what's going on. We had some examples earlier where everybody was kind of figuring out. Oh, look at that. Oh, I just learned something. I just clicked on some buttons that I didn't ever click on before. Now I know what they are. So anyway, so just for you. Oh, you work in tech. Nice. Direct marketing company. Okay. So like, were you doing like direct marketing, like direct mail? Because direct marketing could be pretty, that could be sales at that point. Where do you work in tech as well? I'm curious. Tech is really interesting because it's like one of those things where you want to obviously sell your product, right? So it's a very product-based thing. Like where I work I'm working in legal industry. It's very much a service industry, and as much as the lawyers don't like to hear it, but essentially as a lawyer, you're a plumber. You're you're solving someone else's problem. I don't want to see shit in my toilet, so I'm going to call the plumber, and someone else is going to solve my problem with legal means. So really interesting. Thanks for coming and watching the stream. It's been a while since I've done this, and I always enjoy sharing. So what this stream's all about. Oh, mailers and emails. Cool. Okay. I do a lot of emails. So we don't do any really direct mail. The funny thing is, like, mailers always work. Like, especially if you're in local industries. It's really, really interesting. And email is always going to be the most powerful because it's going directly to people. And I really like it. Oh, that's one of my dogs. There's a fire truck went by. He always howls when there's a fire truck. Anyway, but like email is like super powerful. And I find a lot of people who are actually in marketing don't put a lot of value in it. They just think it's something that gets blasted out there and like deleted immediately. But it is really powerful if you do it well. And if you do it really bad, like, of course, it's not going to be helpful. So having to explain like a lot of these things like in systems to like people I understand and even work with is really interesting because it brings more people in, but it's kind of like that quiet. It's like always that silent majority. Like people are going to see your emails and kind of know you're out there. Even if they don't interact with them necessarily, doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Like you're really just creating top of mind value. And ideally, if over a long course of time, you're going to create a sale. You're just helping nurture that through a more direct path. I do a lot of like social media stuff. Oh, quality assurance. Nice. Oh, if big San Francisco. Okay, let's see. Let's take a guess at what tech company you're in. I'm trying to, I mean, there's a bazillion of them, of course, but like I think Salesforce is the big one. Anyway, but I would be very curious, like, what's your experience like as a quality assurance person? Like, are you quality assurance testing the product? Or are you doing like quality control with like clients? Are you working in with any direct clients? And you don't have to share if you don't want it. I know a lot of this stuff is secret. Like, I can't share a lot of stuff like I've done in the past, or even at this job now, because, you know, it's all hush hush, quiet type stuff. But the industries have very specific like kind of takes on things and how they do it. Oh, nice. Salesforce. Man, number one guess. Okay. Chalk it up to knowing people. At least in the legal industry, like it's very much like closed-minded. Like this is how we've always done things. This is how we're always going to continue to do things. Because they don't want to. Like it's very, you have to think how outdated the court systems are, and how like a lot of the people who are in the legal industry like all rely on nice mobile apps. Very cool. Very, very cool. I don't know hardly anything about apps. It's not something I really end up done really well. But that's really cool. It's interesting to hear your take on that. Salesforce mobile apps. That's nice. Now you got me thinking. I've got my brain spinning now. But in the legal industry, it's all about precedent. And that's a fancy pants word to say, okay, what came before? Because that's the only thing that they can really base. It's essentially the social proof to prove that you are doing something that's already been done, right? So you can say, oh, to the judge, well, yeah, but it's been done before, and this guy said it, and so and so and so, and you know that should be the reason why we're doing our business this way. And you know that sways a lot of judges, because essentially you're social proofing and doing research to prove to the judge, well, you can't have a different opinion. So that gets used a lot, and for whatever reason, that bleeds over into legal marketing departments and the legal marketing organizations. Like it's all about like, what has every other competitor done? What has every other competitor, you know, like we can't be too different because then we'll be the sort them out. And you don't ever want to be the sort them out. And it's just weird. It's very contradictory because I didn't come from a legal marketing. I didn't come from the legal world at all when I started this job. And they thought that was thrilling, exciting. Like it was like, ooh, new adventures out in the world. And they bring it up all the time. And I've been in this job for 4 years, and they constantly talk about it as a thing that like, oh, well, Brady came from the outside legal industry. Like he doesn't know. It's like, no, I know marketing. I know exactly what I'm doing and how to do it and where to do it and why we do it. And they kind of, it's weird. They kind of like peddle it around. Like, and there's a few other people on our team now who have come from outside the industry. So I'm happy to see that that's slightly changing, but they still wear it as like a weird badge. Like, oh, well, we got this guy from so-and-so and we did this thing. Oh, isn't it, see how different that is? So it's just kind of interesting. Like, I understand there are times and places where you need to create something reliable. Okay, you wheel out the old jalopy, you know, and it's nothing's going to change about it, but you know exactly how it works and functions. So you shouldn't spend hardly any time or energy at all, quite honestly, like trying to optimize it. Like, you know, it's going to work. It's like the direct mail thing. Like, you know, there's a certain rate people are going to open. There's a certain rate that people are going to, you know, throw away instantly. You just have to know that that's the reliability piece that a lot of people just want to rely on. Oh, because of the waste. Oh, I mean, yeah, like 10,000 unsolicited mailers for 5% response. This is the funny thing. Like, you're absolutely right. Like, it's 100% paper waste. It's like, but that in that example, 10,000 unsolicited emails for 5% response. That piece, like if that was applied to an email marketing campaign in the legal field, and this is different depending on what industry you're in the legal field, people would just shit the bed. They would be like, oh my God, 5% response rate. That would be unbelievable. Like they wouldn't even know what to do with themselves. Like that would be astronomical. Because like we'll get open rates. Like, and this is the funny thing. Like for legal marketing emails, the open rates are very high because people want to hear from their lawyers because they're hoping to get a legal edge on their competitors, right? But the click-through rates, our open rates are really high. The click-through rates, dismally small. Like if you ask someone else, let's say you got that email, that alert, some law thing, that nonsense has changed, and you ask them, go to our website to read more about blah, blah, blah. Or here's the thing, that law changed. Or download, or go to the webinar. The click-through rates are maybe 0.5%. Like it is dismally small. Like the engagement on some of these things is just, it's wild to me. Because I came from like products and industries where people were like eager to buy because it's stuff that they were interested in and wanted to, get involved with. So it's all depends. It's so funny how it differs in different industries, but like in your particular case, you're right. It's a ton of like paper waste. It's a lot that's just going straight into landfills, and that's terrible. But when applied to a digital situation, same thing. You're creating a ton of waste. I mean, it is digital waste, but to have those kinds of like open rates or response rates of like 5% response, like man, the legal people would just go bananas. And it's so funny. Like I'm trying to think of like another industry. Like I worked in the manufacturing industry for a motorcycle parts place. They custom made like exhausts and like turbos and things like that, and they would get their open rates. I think they were pretty kind of mediocre. I think I want to say they were like 25%, so still fairly high. But their click-through rates were extremely high because a lot of the times people were just like dream wishing. So they would click through and, they would watch the latest video on what stuff we were doing. They want to know all about the people who are creating the stuff and the kind of performance they can expect. They love the videos of people talking about like their latest development and, how their turbos are testing and exhausts and things like that. So different industries, totally different aspects on what's going on. But their performance were great because they were making sales. Honestly, they were doing really well. Some of the other industries I worked in, I worked at a sports memorabilia auction house. And that was a strange one because it was like sports memorabilia that was signed by either the athletes or, movie stars in certain cases, or, but a lot of, it was kind of like an auction, but at the same time, it was kind of consignment because people would get stuff signed and then they would consign it with us, and then we would sell it on our website and we would collect commissions and things like that. So like, it was very, very kind of strange. It was a weird one, but like they made a ton of money. Unimproved. Let's see. What's it? Email providers have gotten much more aggressive. Oh yeah, absolutely. Filtering things. And the funny thing is like your comment here, it says Apple's trying to reduce tracking, right? I don't think it's not that Apple's trying to reduce tracking. It's that Apple's trying to own tracking, right? So Google's doing the same thing. Apple's just been a little bit more open about it. Like they want to hinder. They essentially want to kneecap Google, like, and Facebook ads, right? And what they want to do is they're going to take that information, and they're not really saying it to anybody, but what they're been doing is by filtering out and being, like you said, more aggressive, filtering all that stuff out, flagging it as spam, flagging it into like a whatever promotions folder or whatnot. Like they're learning how certain things, because maybe I want that sales email. Well, if I say, yeah, go ahead and allow that in, well, now they're going to say, okay, what about that email that you want, right? Because now they're going to say, oh, I see. Well, if it's an email from, I don't know, Home Depot, pick whatever retailer, Walmart, whatever. If it's from there, what in that email is important to you? So they're going to start learning more and more and more. So now they can say, okay, I guarantee you anything, Apple's going to open its own ad network, And they're going to say, okay, well, now we have all of this learned information because we are now being aggressively filtered, right? Now we can say, oh, well, you want to deliver to all Apple devices, which is like, what is it now? I think the stats it's still insanely high. It's like 80% of phone users are Apples worldwide. Now we know all of this really critical information. Now we're going to open our ad network, and if you want to deliver to Apple devices, your customers are on Apple devices, well, you need to go through our ad network or our email platform, and we know they will get delivered because we built the filters. So it's kind of an interesting take, and Google's going to do the same thing. They're spending a lot of time on understanding and your information, understanding how you function. Amazon does the same thing. Understanding how you operate within and what you're allowing, permitting, is gold for them, because they can package that up and sell that to someone else, or they can package it up and put it on their own platform. And it's all about, all of these tech giants. You should know, all of these tech giants, it's all about owning and controlling information, because that's their business. You are a product. All right, I need a sip. Drink time. Man, good chat. Unimproved. Thanks for coming. This is really cool. It's nice to get some interaction. I haven't done one of these in a while, but it's really nice to see. The funny thing is, speaking of Amazon, they had some article. I think they had some press release, actually. They were announcing there's going to be a new Prime show. It's all about the Ring camera footage. Oh, fighting between the giants. Yeah, fighting. There's always going to be fighting between the giants. Amazon stopped showing stuff about the product you purchased on their confirmation emails because Google was looking. Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's all about okay, they're learning from each other. They're essentially scalping, right? And because so many people are using the free services like the Gmails and whatnot, and the @me's and things like that, the Apple emails, they're all skimming from each other. Everybody, it's like this one giant freaky Ouroboros of information. And it's less about making a better product. They don't care. They're gonna own every section and piece of it. And the funny thing, and I have to give credit to this, where I originally heard this concept was from a guy named Joe Polizzi, and he's been in content marketing forever and ever and ever. And he said that was the biggest risk Apple could provide to Facebook and Google. That was their number one priority, to be able to kind of kneecap them, was being able to cut them off in a way, because they control that kind of email platforms integration. So it's 100%. It's all the stuff that they're not saying out loud. They're saying, Apple's saying, yeah, it's for privacy purposes. We're going to protect you. Well, that makes me as a consumer feel good. It makes me feel safe and trust them more. But what they're not saying out loud is, yeah, we're essentially scalping your own information and learning. Anyway, what I was going back to, there was a press release. They were talking about how Amazon Prime is going to release a show about found footage from Ring doorbells. Well, I think it was last year, Amazon bought Ring doorbells, and now they have access to all of that, all of it, all of those shows, or not shows, that footage that's captured from those Ring cameras, and they're going to turn it into some comedy series, because there are weird pratfalls, and so Jimmy falls off a bike. Well, it's captured on my doorbell on my house, and I'm paying for the Ring service, but Amazon gets access to all the footage, and they totally get to decide who they want to share that with, and now they're going to make a show about it. I'm sure they have to get some kind of mild permissions. But you're buying into the Ring system, which is owned by Amazon, and they get, I'm sure there's some clause in the contract that says they get access to all of that, because there have been stories where that video doorbell call information or whatever is given to police, so it's all there. It's all captured. It's all being used and analyzed. And they're going to come out with some new security product based off of the show, I'm sure. They're going to come up with something that's oh, well, if you don't want to be on the show, well, now you have to sign up for the ultra premium package. Or if you want to be on the show, you could sign up for the double ultra premium package, and then we'll show your funny clip on America's Home, Ring doorbell footage. So it's all, everything is being packaged, everything is being commoditized, everything is being monetized, and we don't own anything. It's coming down to the point where it's like, yeah, you'll own less and less. Like, everything is a service, right? Like, was it last week? BMW is like, oh yeah, our latest car has heated seats if you have the subscription, and we can just turn it off if you don't like pay the subscription fee. It's like, I'm paying all this money for a premium car, and I have to pay a premium to use my premium services. So really interesting, and it's kind of unfortunate that we're getting to this point where it's not. I know a lot of people are pushing back on it, but it's not about helping people anymore, or helping customers, or getting better sales, or quality leads, any of that. It's not about quality anymore. It's about that. It's about how can we monetize and produce something that can be broken down to its base components and absolutely eviscerated for money. and that's the funny thing. It's like, as a marketer, like, I have a weird, jaded, I guess, perception of things, because I know how stuff works. Like, we all know how we're being sold to and being told, and that's fine. Like, people want to be sold, they want to be wowed, they want to be dazzled, and they want life to get easier. And a lot of the times marketers help people understand what they need, because they're trying to solve a problem. And that's kind of the thing that I enjoy doing, is like, can I solve a problem? Can I make your life easier? Can I take a thing that you may not think you might need until you need it, until it's too late? It's marketing is a thing where I feel comfortable helping people. The BMW heated seats, nice. I think what's going to happen, and this is totally very similar to, in the agricultural world, John Deere, who makes the manufacturer of the tractors, right? John Deere, at one point, they have these enormous, massive tractors, and they are software hard locked to the tractor. So if something goes wrong and breaks, well, in our mind and in our history as a nation, like, tractors and farmers, like, everybody's going to get in there and you're going to fix that tractor with a piece of duct tape and a piece of twine, and now the tractor is going to work for another 100 years. Well, John Deere's trying to cut that off, because they know these people are highly innovative and are very motivated, and they don't want people working on their $500,000 tractors. They want the farmer to have to call out to the service to get them to come out and fix the tractor. So it's probably a software problem. Well, farmers don't do software. I mean, they do now. They are much better about it, but they want to fix stuff. They want to get stuff done. So same thing with, like, the BMW heated seats. Someone's going to get in there and just cut the crap out of whatever software programs in there, disallowing that. And just lately, I mean, within like the last 6 months, there have been people who are working furiously to stop John Deere from having these, like, software soft locks, essentially cutoffs of their products. So, like, they don't want you to use other tractor manufacturers' oil lubricants on your own engine, right? They want you to use the certified John Deere stuff. And if you put, like, a certain viscosity of oil in the John Deere engine that's not designed for, the software locks up, or if you try to do so-and-so or go above a certain thing, or, like, it's all very automated. And this guy has spent years working to break that system. And John Deere's been in the courts for years to try and stop that guy. And essentially last year, I think they did a big announcement of it, like at some hacker con or something. He announced that he could get around it, and it was like a simple software backdoor that everyone's known about for years, and he finally found it. And he could get in and not just turn it off. Like, you still need all the computer systems. These tractors are insanely complicated. But he's just cut out this minor piece of code that notifies and locks the tractor for these farmers. And he's like, look, I'm going to offer this to you for free. And progressively, John Deere has lost many court cases in different states saying that they can't soft lock hardware good, like, products like that. You can't limit someone from work. I think it's, what do they call it? It's like the right to repair or something like that. You can't soft lock products so hard that people can't get in there and fix it, right? So it's going to get to that point, even with tech. Like, You want to fix something? Well, you got to hire a reputable dealer. You can't just go out. I mean, there's people who are like hard coding all sorts of stuff that do stuff better than Salesforce, who do stuff better than like HubSpot. But the technical skill needed to get to that point is far way above most people can do. I'm not a programmer. I couldn't have done it. But, going back into just a basic spreadsheet and tracking your emails there, tracking your conversions there, doing all your social media posts manually, like you could do all sorts of stuff without any of this involvement, and it would instantly like lose a lot of people their jobs if people were willing to put in the work and had the technical expertise to be able to go out and do it. So that's my rant and my rave. Anyway, so I've been going on for about an hour and a half now. That's cool. It feels nice. I haven't done this in a while. And it's mostly because like things get busy and life gets going on, and streaming is one of those things where I really want to be doing it more, and I really like being able to talk with people and share my thoughts and hear what their thoughts are. So Unimproved, thank you. It's been really cool hearing your perspective. It's really nice. And speaking of perspective, this is interesting. Twitch announced that they're having, like with the tagging, you can kind of put in your own certain tags. And there was this interesting article, I'll have to find it, but I believe it was on, I want to say it was on Kotaku, but I might be wrong. I'm sure I'm wrong. Anyway, the Kotaku website, they had this article about how the Twitch tagging about, not just categories, but like the categories like, okay, is it IRL? Is it, not only a certain game, but like, is it friendly for people in the gay community, things like that. What they've done is they're trying to get people to use more specific tags so they can kind of break down, categorize these people on Twitch more, and help smaller creators bump up their profiles and things like that by finding more specific niches. And what they've actually found in this article is that they've divided fairly large communities who had huge backgrounds of people watching based on that tag, a simple tag, that now people are trying to put in their own tags, and it's kind of fragmented this one more unified community into something a whole lot more broken down. And now it's kind of ruined the community aspect that they had created on Twitch. And this can go for games, this can go for like podcast episodes, this can go for like, just chatting, things like that. Like people are breaking, not just from that main category, they're breaking out into these tiny things. And so it's not actually improving the community experience. It's actually hindering the community experience because none of these people can find each other. Because if I'm using a certain tag, well, if there's another person out there who's talking about marketing on Twitch, I wouldn't be able to find them because maybe I don't know their tags. But they would never show up in a search. They would never show up like when I'm trying to start a stream or anything like that. So it's just really interesting how like it's that small change, like little things that you think might better the community experience in any position you're in, it actually may hinder them. What you think you're trying to be helpful isn't. You're actually fragmenting. And I find that a lot of times, like in my work here, that the stuff that we end up creating, like we send out to email lists and whatnot, like we have some fairly broad email lists. And when we try to get down to like the minutia of like certain people in certain locations or certain people who are maybe in a certain industry group, and we send out these email blasts, they always perform even worse. And instead of sending out to a more specific list, maybe who are all interested in a certain thing or a topic or a particular law service need, whatever, those emails always perform better because we're reaching an audience that maybe they didn't know that they needed that. So by spicing them off into like even smaller and smaller and smaller, I may send an email or I may tag a certain stream to a certain thing. But I should have sent that out to 50 people when I sent it out to one. And maybe that one person really, really needed it, and I knew that, and that's why I sent it. But maybe those 9 other people that should have been on that list, or those 49 other people, or 100 million people should have been on that list, probably could have needed it as well. But we're so gun shy to like, we don't want to offend anybody with sending them an email, because that might hurt our open rates. And then our email platform doesn't like us, so we'll get blacklisted or something. So it's interesting. It's kind of like this nice balance, but you have to know intrinsically the audience that you're trying to reach. So pretty interesting, kind of weird stuff that happens out in the world, but it's all, I mean, that's the thing. That's what I love about marketing. It's all about like augmenting and learning and transitioning what you know and applying to your specific piece. So always very interesting. I love learning. It's one of those weird things. Like I hated being in school, but like when I'm inspired and learning on my own, like I'm like ravenous about it. So very fun, very cool, very interesting. I think I'm going to take another quick break. And then I think when we come back, we'll play some games. And then we'll see what's going on. Because right now, my co-working, very quiet. Very quiet. And I have anticipating it's going to continue to be quiet as far as I know. So we'll see. So let's take a quick break. I'll be back. Give me like 3 or 4 minutes. And then related tags in search. Yeah, I think there was discussion about that. Yeah, software. Yeah, all right. We'll talk to you soon. Unimproved. I'll be back in like 5 minutes. Good to talk to you. Come back some other time, man. All right, we'll be right back.